Hello and welcome to this lecture. We're looking at the public and the private sector. So, I want to look at the ownership, the purpose, and the funding and decision making. This is what's going to separate the public sector from the private sector. So, let's get going. So, first and foremost, we have to look at what is a business organization because through knowing what is a business organization, that's when we can reach a consensus that tells us that the business organization is divided into two, the public sector and the private sector. So a business organization is an entity formed for the purpose of conducting commercial, industrial, or professional activities. It also takes various forms such as a sole trader, sole proprietorship, or sole trader, partnership, corporations, or limited liability company, LLCs. These entities typically aim to generate profit by providing goods and services in the marketplace. So we are looking at the core of being a business organization is about the idea of generating a profit and providing a goods and services in the marketplace, which means every business is informed on a purpose, either as conducting commercial, industrial, or professional activities, but the whole aim is to generate profits by providing those goods and services in the marketplace. So we are now looking at the is what I've said that the business world is divided into two, being the private sector and the public sector. So let's look at the private sector. So we look at the ownership of the private sector. We're looking at the privately owned and operated by individuals or corporations. So this is the one which is owned by private individuals, just like you and me. This is the private sector. We are the one which who own those businesses. We are the one operators in the business. Either we are operating them individually or as a corporation. This is all in line with the idea of raising the adequate capital of running the business. Then, as a purpose, you're looking at most of this private sector business primarily driven by profit motive, because what we aim to do is solve a problem. That in the end, when the market wants the problem that we are solving, then they give us a reward through a profit. That's what we aim to do when we start businesses. Also, also when you look at the funding, uh, relies on private investment revenue for consumers because this is the business whereby you're actually going to be held by even by the family members. These are also part of the private investment, even by friends, or and also relying on the revenue from customers that you can actually grow your business. And decision making made by private individuals or corporate bodies, corporate boards. This is where we look at the stand of running this private organization. What is more important? They are the one who makes the decisions because, as you've mentioned, that they are one which owning the business. That one in private individuals are the one which is operating the business and the one also make decisions of the business. Then the public sector. This is the one which is owned by the government, opened and operated by the government or its agencies. They actually appoint agencies which have been specialized in a certain field, whether there will be a post of finance, they put someone with the skill or you have attained the degree for managing uh, money, finance. So this is how we look at the idea that the power government is the one which is going to be running this type of organization. And the purpose is aimed to provide public service and address societal needs. So, which means the government needs so our purpose is to make sure that they provide essential goods and services to consumers, so that they address societal needs. Which means that's why they provide what's called public service, uh, which is in line with providing hospitals, schools. This is all in line with the public service. And right now, we have the Supreme which providing the public service of alleviating the transport problems that is facing the country. When you look at the funding, funded by taxes and government budgets, whereby you have the national budget was presented by the minister last year in December, which means we also have government budgets that budget the amount of money they're willing to spend. At the same time, they are funded by taxes that they charge on businesses, on consumers, also on the ones that are working in the public sector, they charge them taxes, income tax, also on the business they are charged corporate tax, also they are charged the indirect tax like a value-added tax, VAT. So we're looking also at decision making often involves government official or elected representative, which means they have a board which they actually have government officials that do make decisions on behalf of the government. So which means you have elected representative, which people who are educated, because government what it does it employs the professionals to run their businesses. So you have to look at what really um, they will do if they're the ones in charge of running the business. Then in conclusion, The private sector operates for profit under private ownership, while the public sector is government owned and focuses on providing service for the public goods. So that's what you have to know, the key difference between the private sector and the public sector, how the private sector has a profit motive, and also how the public sector focuses on providing services for societal needs, the public goods which are needed for the consumers to have a decent standard of living, also to have to live well in society. Then we have a practice question exercise for you, whereby you just have to look at the key difference between public and private sector. It's always an exam question that comes on that. You should be prepared for that. So thank you so much for watching the video. I'll see you on the next.